Hey Camp Shaw, it's time for our third animal ambassador. So this week we're talking about the northern map turtle. They get their names because they have yellow squiggly lines on their skin and on their shells. And these lines look very similar to the lines on a specific type of map. They are reptiles and they live for generally about 15 to 20 years in the wild, but sometimes they can live even longer than that. So they live for a pretty long time. Their babies are called hatchlings, and then females are quite a bit bigger than males. They live around here in the Midwest and also in the eastern United States, and they are an endemic species, which means that they are not found anywhere else in the world. So you can find them here in North America, but if you go anywhere else, there will not be this species of turtle there. They prefer to live in rivers, but you can sometimes find them in lakes and ponds as well. They like to live in places where there's rocks that are sticking out of the water, or if there's like a tree that fell into the water, anything that they can sit on while they're basking in the sun. They are diurnal, which means that they're active during the day, and usually if they're not eating, they are basking. So a lot of times if you see one turtle, there will be a lot of other ones nearby. They like to kind of stay in a group while they're laying in the sun. And then in the winter they will hibernate. So they will stay under the water near the bottom of the river or the lake, wherever they're at, and a lot of other turtles will be near them and they will just rest for the whole winter, and they absorb oxygen from the water for them to stay alive rather than coming up and breathing in the air from the atmosphere. The females lay their eggs usually between May and July, and the way that they do this is they make a nest. So usually they'll go onto the land a little bit away from the water but still kind of close by, and they'll dig a little hole in the soil and then they'll lay their eggs in that hole, and then they will cover them up. Usually a female can lay between 6 and 20 eggs at one time, and what she lays at one time, that amount of eggs, that's called a clutch. Usually the eggs will hatch late in the summer, and sometimes the hatchlings will stay in their nest until the following spring. So they'll just kind of chill out for the winter and then come out when it's warm, and then they'll go to the water. The temperature determines what gender the turtles are going to be. So while the eggs are developing and they're in the soil, if the soil is really hot, then the eggs are going to develop and be females, and if it's a little bit cooler, that slight differences in the temperature is going to make the eggs develop into males. They are mainly carnivores, which means that they eat mostly meat, and some of the main foods that they eat are snails, clams, crayfish, and insects. And then they are not considered endangered, but some of their foods that they eat are endangered. So the clams that they eat are really sensitive to water pollution, and they've been dying out a lot lately, and so because of that, the turtles have less food, and so that could potentially affect them in the future. So that's all about turtles, and now we're gonna do a craft. For our craft, we're gonna make God's Eye turtles. So you need glue. I have liquid glue and a glue stick. You're gonna need scissors, a Sharpie, yarn. If you have tiny googly eyes, you can use those, they're really small. And then 3 popsicle sticks. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is glue the popsicle sticks together in a way that sort of resembles the shape of a turtle. So you're going to make an X, and then you're just going to put the third one through it just like this, and then you're going to glue them together. Then you can put your eyes on, and if you want to draw on a mouth, you can do that as well. And I'm using a glue stick for the eyes. And then you're just gonna wait until the glue dries really well, and then we'll come back and we'll make the turtle. Alright, so our glue has been drying for quite a while now, so it's completely dry. I'm gonna add in a mouth, and then just like some lines on the feet, kind of to make them look like toes. And then to make your turtle, some of you have made God's eyes before, and it's the same weaving pattern that you use for that. You just start it by wrapping the yarn in the middle to make it stay. So once you have a lot wrapped around the middle and it kind of looks like this, you're going to start wrapping it around each popsicle stick individually. So you're going to put it underneath and then wrap it over and then bring it over to the next one, wrap it under, bring it over to the next one, and you keep on wrapping it and bringing it over to the next one, and you just keep on repeating that, just like this. And then if you want to change out a color, you can cut the string that you're done with and then take your next color and just tie it to the end of that string. And then you can cut the extra ends off. And then just keep wrapping just like you were. And now you have a new color. And then once you get towards the end and you just have a little bit of like the feet sticking out, you want to be done because you don't want to cover those up. So I'm going to cut mine and I'm going to leave a little bit of room here. You're just going to kind of tuck it into the strings in the back so that it stays. And you can even tie those strings in the middle together to make it stay better. And then you have your finished God's Eye turtle. Bye!